Okay, you ready?
I'm leading it off, right?
Pardon?
Right.
That is correct. You're leading.
Okay, all right. All right, hello. We are group 2, and the scripting language we did was Java. The group 2's members include Andrea Dixon, Victor Ortiz, Merrick Martin, Michelle Kesley, and myself, William Atchison. Next slide. We'll talk about the technical specifications to start off.
Hi everyone, I'm Michelle and I'm going to talk about some of the tech specs for Java. And for the purposes of this slideshow, we are going to talk about Java version 8 and 7. Recently at my job, we had heard about some security vulnerabilities with 6, so we've been instructed to remove all versions of Java 6 from our machines. So we are going to talk about 8 and 7 today. It is supported on Windows operating systems Vista, 7, 8, and 10, and that's Java versions 8 with update 51 and above. It's also usable on Server 2008 R2, Service Pack 1 64-bit, and Server 2012 and 2012 R2 64-bit as well. You can also use Mac. You can also use Java on the Mac operating systems as long as it's an Intel-based Mac running OS X 10.8.3 and above. You have to have administrative privileges for the installation, and it must be a 64-bit browser. Next slide, please. You can also use Java with Linux, as shown by the list right here. You can use it on 5.5 to 7.2, 32, and 64-bit. You can also use it on a Red Hat Enterprise from 5.5 to 7.2, and that's 64-bit only. You can also use Java on Enterprise Server 10, Service Pack 2 and up, and also 11 and up, and 12 and up on 64-bit versions. And if you'll notice, I mentioned Firefox specifically under Linux. You can also use it on Internet Explorer and Firefox. But if you'll notice, Google Chrome is not there anywhere. And if you use Chrome as your main browser like I do, you might see the following error message when you go to download Java on Chrome. It says, "We have detected you are using Google Chrome and might be unable to use the Java plugin from this browser. Starting with version 42, released in April of 2015, Chrome has disabled the standard way in which browsers support plugins." And I see that a lot in my day. So what I do instead is I switch to Internet Explorer or Firefox, and I just update Java there. So some of the hardware requirements for Java, you need at least 128 meg of RAM, 124 meg of disk space for Java runtime environment, and another 2 meg for the Java update that runs in the background and gets you and notifies you when you have those updates available. The processor you need at least a Pentium 2, and like I said before, the browsers supported are IE 9 and above and Firefox, but not necessarily Google Chrome anymore. Next slide.
Okay, I'm Andrea, and I'll go over the costs. So what are the costs associated with the Java platform? Java offers 3 basic product editions. They have the Java SE, which is the standard edition, the Java EE, which is the enterprise edition, and the Java ME, which is the micro edition. All of these are available for free on their website, and they can be downloaded and utilized. However, the commercial features in these product lines, as well as the advanced editions, do require a licensure agreement. Next slide, please.
I'll be going over the features. There's a lot to talk about here. So the Java syntax is based on C++ for easy readability, but Sun Microsystems did take the liberty of removing many confusing and rarely used features, syntax features such as explicit pointers and operator overloading. And over the time, the syntax has evolved to support things like generic programming and function literals. Java is an object-oriented language. This means that the software is organized as a combination of different object types that incorporates both data and behavior. And this is meant to help simplify software development and maintenance by providing rules to go by. And one of the things that's often said about Java is that it's portable. And what they mean by that is that it is platform independent and it is architecture neutral. Its platform independence allows it to run on multiple platforms such as Windows, Mac, and Linux distros. And this is made possible by the Java virtual machine, which is actually programmed with the platform-dependent code from those platforms. And this means that you have different versions of JVM like Windows JVM, Mac JVM, etc. And even though there are different versions of the JVM, whichever you can write a single line of Java bitcode and it will run on each of those JVMs just the same. So in reality, you're actually programming for the JVM and not necessarily the platform itself. Its neutral architecture comes from the fact that it has no implementation dependent features. And this also means that its primitive data types are fixed. And since Java only occupies 4 bits of memory, it can interact with both 32-bit and 64-bit architectures seamlessly. It has various security features that help make it one of the most secure languages to program in. Its lack of pointers make it impossible for applications to gain access to memory locations without authorization. And so instead of pointers, the memory allocation is handled by the underlying runtime platform. Java's class loader helps insulate the classes of the local file system from those that are imported from network sources. And this is to help ensure that untrusted code will not interfere with other running Java programs. It also comes with a bitcode verifier that checks code fragments from illegal code that could violate access rights to objects. And lastly, for security, it has a built-in security manager which determines what resources a class can access, such as reading and writing to a local disk. And Java supports multi-threading, which is a feature that's been discussed in previous presentations, and it acts the same way here, where it allows Java to handle multiple tasks at once by defining multiple threads. And as stated before, the advantage of multi-threading is that it lets you save on memory. And lastly, Java's robustness comes from its strong memory management, on-mag garbage collection, and its built-in exception handling and type checking mechanisms. And that's it for features.
Customer's perspective. Java is part of the Oracle family, so it not only shares its revenue model, it does not only have the same revenue model as a lot of the other Oracle products, but it also shares its reputation as an industry leader. Java has offices all over the US and, internationally. They have offices in Brazil, China, Japan, North America, and Russia. So they have international customers. In this chart, it just shows a couple of companies that actually utilize the Java products. Overall, though, Java is a very respected and a very respected product line. It is what customers like most about it is its responsiveness and its reliability. Customers like the fact that Java is constantly upgrading their capabilities in the language features, not just to improve system improvements, but to improve overall performance for its end users. They also appreciate the fact that Java has created a very inclusive end user community. They actually have a variety of programs that include their outreach program. They have a user group, of course, IT forums. They have a Java magazine. They actually have a site where users can publish articles, and they have Java blogs. So they have created a community where their end users are very much in tune with their product line, but they also share a lot with Java about their expectations, their needs, and their requirements. Java in the past has had complaints about vulnerabilities with the systems, but a lot of that has been corrected with the newer versions of their programs. Next slide.
All right, user interface. So it's a dynamically typed program. That just means it uses or verifies the type safety of a program at runtime. It's also known as latent typing. And one of the pitfalls of this type of programming is that errors are harder to detect until a piece of code is actually executed. Uses a standard library, and that's just a fancy way of saying that it's a programming language. Uses the same wording across its implementations and versions, and of course some slight variations depending on the version or the intended purpose of the version. Structured programming, that's just if statements, while loops, switch statements, or do while loops. Control structures, this is what allows JavaScript program to flow to change within a unit of code or function. So in other words, not all blocks of code necessarily have to be executed. Subroutines is just a code that's used as needed, reused. Block structures, and this is what allows a program to treat groups as statements, or groups of statements as one statement. Next slide.
Scalability. Java is very scalable programming language and is supported on multiple operating systems, as said before, to include Solaris, Mac OS, and Windows. It also support on home devices and also Internet of Things devices. For example, thermostats, vending machine, kitchen appliances, and some mobile cameras. Java can scale both vertically and horizontally. So what that means is to scale Java vertically, all you have to do is the server or the system running your Java application to add more resources to it, either RAM, processing, CPU to that system. To scale Java horizontally, if you run in Java in the Java application, a cluster of nodes, you just add another node to that cluster to scale it horizontally across your environment. Java supports multi-threading, which means 2 or more lines or codes can run concurrently, and each part can handle a different task at the same time, making optimal use of the available resources on the system. As said before, Java, there's different version of the Java virtual machine.
Did we lose him?
No, I'm still here. I just thought it was my cell phone.
I think we lost Martin.
Did I drop out?
Yeah, he
Hello?
dropped out.
Yeah, okay, you're back.
Hey,
You left off on multiple platforms.
okay. What was the last thing you guys get from me?
You're starting to talk about multiple platforms.
Okay. I guess the different version of the Java virtual machine. Yeah. So there's a Java Micro Edition, the Java Standard Edition, and Enterprise Edition. There's also a cloud service solution. Next slide.
Okay, so to wrap up, it's available, or JavaScript's available on Windows, Mac, Linux, all compatible with that. There's basic and commercial versions available through Oracle. This is based on C++. It's object-oriented, portable, and secure. Has an international customer base. It's dynamically typed, uses a standard library and block structuring. Uses multiple operating systems, multi-threaded programming language, and is multiple platforms as well. And any questions?
Okay. Very good. So, what did you learn about Java?
I didn't
Can you
know
hear
there
me?
were commercial versions available. I thought it was just the free one that everybody downloads.
Okay.
I did not know that it was actually a platform. I was familiar with Java as a programming language, but not as a operating system platform. So that was very surprising to me.
Okay.
I actually finally learned why it's portable. Like I said during the presentation, like I heard that thrown around a lot. It's like, yeah, it's a portable programming language, but I didn't really know what they meant by it. So yeah, just seeing that the JVM is the magic sauce that lets it be portable and it being just 4 bits of memory. That's
Yeah, I mean,
helped me finally understand that.
yeah, I mean, that's really pretty cool to be able to write one piece of code and be able to run it on Linux or Mac or whatever it happens to be, PC. That's pretty slick. So, what do you think? How do you think it compares to some of the other scripting languages, specifically like ASP, for example?
I'm not familiar with ASP. I've only worked with Java.
Okay.
Really.
Anyone else?
I
I'm
guess
not
compared
familiar either.
Okay.
I guess compared to ASP, Java is more popular, and it's more popular because of how the module the programming language is, and it also is supported on multiple different platforms. So I just think Java in terms is widely known because of the name Java and how widely used on different environment it is.
Yeah, and I mean, I think one of the bad things for us as IT professionals is that you get kind of pigeonholed. You get familiar with the technology that you're familiar with, whether that be routers or a specific programming language or whatever it happens to be, and you kind of think, okay, well, that's always my hammer. That's always the tool that is going to fix the problem that I'm going to have. And a lot of times you can make it work, but it may not be the ideal thing. Java is a great platform in terms of being able to, like we were just talking about, being able to write the code once and it'll run on virtually any machine, but it's an interpreted language. It's an interpreted script that has to be processed during runtime. And so that means it doesn't necessarily run as efficiently as, say, something like ASP might. The downside is ASP has to, you have to start customizing the code to get it to run on different kinds of machines. So there's pros and cons, and obviously the pro with Java is that ability to write once and use many times. So that's a huge thing. Go ahead.
I've even just readability is a big thing I've heard programmers talk about, just what makes or breaks them. That's why Python and Ruby's become so popular, is because they probably have the easiest readability out of all of the languages right now.
Yeah. In fact, I don't know if anybody's had Dr. Sharp. He's teaching a Python class in the summertime, and it's an undergrad class, so it doesn't help you guys out much. But you're right. Python's really popular right now. So, for my next question, this is really kind of stepping back away from this project specifically, but tell me about this whole process of the way we're presenting, the way you're collaborating on these projects. What do you like about it? What do you not like about it? What could be improved?
One of the things that I like about the project overall is that we're broken up the teams that are doing